I am Gary Schwartz, and I'm here to teach you a method, a self-help tool called Emotional Freedom Technique, which I believe is the most beneficial, most effective, most practical self-help tool I've ever come across, along with knowing how to use your breath, which is also very vital.
EFT originated with a man named Roger Callahan. And Roger Callahan was I'm not sure if he was a psychologist or a social worker, but he was also studying with a man named John T., studying something called Touch for Health that involved the acupuncture meridians, the acumeridians, and he had a client who wasn't progressing, who just didn't seem to make any movement in her personal growth and with her issues. And Callahan experimented and had her tap on some pressure points or acupuncture points, and lo and behold, things started shifting for her. And he began experimenting, and he came up with something that, when I first learned about it, about 15 or 16 years ago when I was a psychologist, was called the Callahan technique. Roger Callahan used to charge people $10,000 to teach them his technique. And one of the people he charged $10,000 to was a man named Gary Craig. And Gary Craig is the man who has taken the Callahan technique, and he gives Roger Callahan full credit. He's taken the Callahan technique and he has modified it in not significantly, slightly, and has expanded it and now calls it Emotional Freedom Technique. And Gary Craig practically gives it away. This process really is effective. It works probably 80% of the time for 80% of the things you'll apply it to. And there isn't another medicine out there that can claim that kind of efficacy. Not one. It involves rebalancing the energy meridians of the body. The most ancient system of medicine on the planet, which is about 5,000 years old, is acupuncture. These are pictures of the acumeridians, the channels through which energy flows in the body. This energy is called by varying names in varying cultures. In Japan, they call it ki, K-I. In China, they call it qi, either spelled C-H-I as it's pronounced, or Q-I. You'll see qigong is spelled Q-I, G-O-N-G. When you go to an acupuncturist, they will stick tiny little needles in where you see the dots on these meridians. And those needles serve to open up or close down the flow of energy in those meridians. What we'll be learning to do is to open up and rebalance all the meridians. There's 14 meridian systems. Some of them are in the front of the body, some of them are in the back of the body. On the sides of the body, the hands, the feet, the ears. They're all over. As I said, they're like a valve. And what that valve is opening and closing is a flow of energy. Western medicine primarily focuses on biochemistry or structural issues. We are just discovering that there's something called qi, or energy, in the body. And there's a lot of research going on in respectable institutions now studying acupuncture because people keep getting results with it. Let me give you an experiential sense of what qi is. If you take your hands, if you would, and start doing this movement right here. And as you go back and forth with your hands, put your awareness in the palms of your hands. Really feel the palms of your hands. Now begin to make those movements very, very tiny movements, little subtle movements, little micro movements, and feel your palms. Feel your palms. And move it either closer or farther away and feel your palms. What are you feeling?
Tingling.
Tingling. What else? Pressure. Anybody feel like magnets, two magnets that have the same pole pushing against each other a little bit? Huh? Okay? That's the qi force. That's the biomagnetic field of the body. Now that field is also visible. If you hold your hands out at arm's length and point your index fingers toward each other about an inch apart, okay? We don't have a dark background, maybe the fireplace. It's easier to see on a dark background, but with your imagination, imagine that between those two fingers you see a fuzziness in the air, a very slight fuzziness. And when you think you see that fuzziness, begin to move one finger up and one down and see if that fuzziness continues to connect the two fingers. Do you see that? Okay? If you don't see it, you just use your imagination. Once you imagine it, it'll be there, it'll stay there. That's the bioelectric field. We apparently don't have any doctors in the room, do we? It always blows their mind because no one in med school has mentioned this. It's a significant issue about our bodies. They are bioenergy systems. The Chinese have known about this. Their primary system of medical care involves moving qi, rebalancing qi, taking damp qi and drying it out, or taking dry qi and moistening it, or they have, just like the Eskimos have many words for snow, there's many adjectives to describe the qi field among practitioners of this ancient art. Now, what EFT is a rebalance of the whole system. When you go to see a practitioner of acupuncture, or there's a number of other touch therapies based on the same systems. When you go to see someone, if they have good working knowledge, they know that, oh, your issue involves the liver, and they'll rebalance the liver. They'll either stimulate the liver or they'll suppress the liver by stimulating the lungs. This is really good when you've studied and you know all the details of what ailments are affected to what organs and what meridian systems. By the way, the meridians, there's 14 of them, 12 of them feed organs that we're familiar with. Liver, lungs, heart, pericardium, all those kinds of things. In EFT, it's a layman's tool because you don't have to know the details of what's out of balance. You don't have to have a clue what's out of balance because we're going to balance the whole system. And what you're going to be learning to do today is 14 different points that are on that chart you got. Gary Craig says, use it on everything. And I sometimes forget to use it. I'll have some issue come up and I'll just kind of go through the day with it, whether it's a tight neck or a tight shoulder or a little worry about something. And I'll carry it through the day and not remember. But you can take worries, you can take aches and pains, you can take whatever ails you, so to speak, and rebalance.